You're listening to She's the Business podcast.
Well, today is episode 150 of She's the Business podcast. So, wow, what a milestone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the audience of this podcast and hopefully enjoying all of the episodes that I bring to you each week. Today, I've got something a little bit fun and different, the brand new social media platform called Threads that's launched into our world just this week. I'm sharing with you just my first impressions of the first few days, what I think about it, what I think about it for your business, and yeah, a bit of an insight into what I see happening on there at the moment. One of the things that I have been actually loving so much, which I'll share with you just right up front, is that there is no inbox, no DMs from cold sellers. Yay! Whoa, Mr. Zuckerberg, you get a big thumbs up from me for that one. That is definitely a major plus in my world. So for the rest of the download on what I think about Threads, the pros, the cons, everything in between, then stay tuned. It's coming right up.
Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration.
Now, if I asked you, do you know who your ideal customer is? More than likely, you're going to answer, yes, of course I do. Or at least I know enough about them to market to them. Or do you? You see, the number one reason why most audiences aren't converting into buyers, or even if you're having trouble building an audience in the first place, is simply because you haven't gone deep enough to understand who it is exactly who you're speaking to. There's no connection being made there, and therefore those people aren't taking that next step. They're not connecting with you, they're not connecting through to become your clients. It's not so much about who they are as a person, who you might see, but more what is actually going on inside their head. What are those questions running on repeat inside their minds? What is it that they're feeling so stuck and frustrated about? And really, why aren't they able to shift themselves out of that place? Now, these are just some of the amazing questions that I get you to explore inside my brand new customer avatar worksheet. I've called it the ultimate customer avatar worksheet because you will never, ever have seen one like this before. It is so much about what's going on in the mind with a couple of questions just to help you get the visual profile of who it is you're speaking to as well. But clearly, it is their thoughts and the way to connect to their thoughts that shifts somebody from being just a person out there in the market into being somebody who's an active fan, a member of your audience, and not only that, but also a buyer. And that takes deeper connection than what most people are prepared to do. So if you're prepared to go that additional step to get really deep and meaningful with your ideal customer, then head over to my website and download this free worksheet right now, and you can get started. It's at jessicaosborne.com/customer-avatar. I've got the link for you here in the show notes, so you can hop straight over there and just get it, download it, and let me know how you get on. Like, how did you find this exercise that I take you through? Because I guarantee you are going to learn more than one brand new thing about your ideal customer that you never knew before. So enjoy, good luck. I hope you love it as much as I do. Whoa, I've got a juicy one for you today. So I thought that it would be a really great episode to have a chat about the brand new platform that Meta has launched called Threads. It's connected to Instagram, but it is a totally new, separate social media platform. And if you're a bit like me, when you heard about it, you probably groaned and went, oh my God, do we honestly need another social media platform to connect with people. And we already have so many at our fingertips, and so many that we're probably on and trying to be on and trying to manage your time and have content in places. It just felt like the thing that nobody needs, but yet here it is. So that was my first initial reaction. I went, oh my God, keep on scrolling. We don't need that. That'll be like yet another one like Clubhouse that has a bit of a burst and then fizzles out. But take two, the next day, yes, I started to see a few posts from other people who had gone on it, and curiosity got the better of me. Yes, I'll admit it. I did have the moment of the shiny object. What am I missing out on? I need to go and check this out. And so I did it. I jumped on. I thought, what's the harm in having a look? I'm just going to check out this new platform and see what all of the fuss is about. So interesting, right? I had a negative impression coming in, thinking this isn't something we're going to need. And then there was the actual real life experience of what it was like. So I thought I'd share with you what I see in, hasn't even been a week yet. It's been literally, what day are we? Yeah, about 3 or 4 days since I joined. What I can see straight away, the positives of Threads are, what I think maybe the negatives of Threads are. Do you need to be on it at all? Why would you consider it for your business? I thought I'd answer those questions for you today. And I'm really interested actually if you are on it as well and you've got some comments to share with me about your experiences and what you perceive, then I'd love to hear them. Either drop them in a comment here on the podcast, send me a note on Instagram in the DMs. I'd really love to hear from my listeners with any feedback and genuine chats about it, or even just share it on a review and share it for the world. Whatever you think about this episode, I want to hear it too. How do we need another platform to chat and connect? What is different about Threads, and what is all this hype about? Well, in case you haven't joined and you're wondering what I am talking about, Threads is, I would see it, Mark Zuckerberg's answer to Twitter. So he's going up against Elon Musk, head-to-head battle here for what we would call like the Twitterverse. And what's really fun about it is that I see it not quite the same as Twitter, but a bit more like the very first days of Facebook, where you used to go onto your Facebook feed and just type a little note, like not even anything very long, just a few words, something about what you're up to, and posting it. And it kind of started off in the same way. So I can see that people have a lot less fear of posting something. They are actually just saying something that's on their mind right now. They're not really thinking about it. They're not curating it as perfect business content. There's a lot more personal stuff happening in there. Although a lot of what I'm seeing, because I'm in many business circles, these are business people, they're entrepreneurs. They're giving you little insights into their life behind the scenes, maybe some funny little quirky comments or questions or what's on their mind right now. And yes, there is a bit of business stuff happening in there as well. So would you consider it for your business? Well, I think that why wouldn't you would be probably my answer. Come back to you with the question, why wouldn't you consider it for your business? It seems that Threads right now, and maybe this is because of the circles I'm in, but there's definitely a really high proportion of entrepreneurs who are straight on it and getting into it and enjoying it. These are early adopter types, of course, and probably people who already have social media platforms. And it's easy because when you have, you are your own brand, or you have a business that you're essentially the main driver of, it's an easy transition for you to just jump on and create some little posts. And you don't really have to think about it much. You could reuse some of the content that you've already got on other platforms, or you could just, even share some little micro thoughts. So it doesn't actually need to be hard at all. You don't need to spend hours in Canva making beautiful graphics or anything like that. You can actually just post a few words of text. Bang. So yeah, why wouldn't you consider it? People are on it. And if you think your audience is on it, which is always the number one question before you spend your time doing something for your business in particular, but if you think your audience is on it, then it is an opportunity to
engage with them potentially in a different way, and in a way that where they have a lot less preconceived ideas and views and critics than they would on other platforms that we all know so much better. So it's really like an open plate right now for anybody to get on and just start sharing and connect with a wider variety of people. So yes, if your clients or your potential clients and prospects are on Threads, or you perceive that they might be because they tend to hang out on Instagram, Instagram is connected to Threads, then it makes sense that you could at least just try it out. It really doesn't take any amount of time or effort, and you don't need a great detailed strategy like you might have done for some other platforms. So yes, a cool experiment to give a go. Just a little note on that is, if you do try it and then don't want it anymore, you actually aren't able to delete your Threads account at the moment without deleting your Instagram account. So if you try it and then decide it's not for you, then you're probably just going to have to let your Threads account go dormant. I believe you can delete your own posts, but oh my goodness, there's a fly attacking me. You will just need to leave your Threads account there so that you don't lose your Instagram account. That's just, I'm not sure why they've done that. Maybe that will change in future updates. I'm sure there's lots of updates coming in the development cycles for Threads. However, right now, as of recording this, that is the case. So just something to be aware of, but not something to prevent you from giving it a go. I think there is absolutely no harm at all in giving it a go. And that's one of the positives of Threads. I think because this is brand new, literally everybody on it is a beginner. Everybody's trying out different things. They're trying out, different kinds of posts. They're just seeing what happens. It's a very friendly, low judgment place because nobody knows what the best way to do it is. Nobody's really criticizing you one way or another. Everybody's in there. We're all beginners together. So it's a real positive about it. One of the other things I've found to be a real positive of Threads is because it is connected to Instagram, straight away you have followers. Like, I've never experienced this before with any other platform, but within the space of a few hours of joining, I had over 500 followers already. I was like, whoa, this is incredible. How much easier is that than the days of starting my Instagram account or starting my Facebook page and, literally one by one, trickling in those first few hundred. It just seemed like it took forever. So that's a massive positive. I think obviously it helps when you have an existing Instagram account already. But I do find that it's just growing organically, mainly because if anyone's commenting on your stuff, then people who are connected to those people are then potentially seeing your post in their feed, and you're just getting a much greater opportunity to get exposure to new people if you're sharing stuff that's interesting. So yeah, get on it, share things. Like, the idea is that you can get exposure to new people really, really quickly. Are they going to be the right people for your business? Well, that's probably depending on the kind of stuff that you're sharing. But here's where I've seen something really interesting. And the people who are trying to go right into the business or the sales part of it on Threads seem to be not gaining much traction at all. That might be because it's new and people are just wanting a breath of fresh air, and they're kind of wanting to see something that's not all business, like a lot of, Instagram, especially the business accounts that we follow, they're usually sharing their key messaging all of the time in different ways, with a little bit of personal stuff thrown in. Threads, it seems to be a flip of the other way around. So it's a lot more personal, a little bit of business but in a much more casual way. I haven't yet, and that's only, I haven't spent hours and hours and hours on this platform, so maybe I just haven't seen it yet, but I haven't yet seen people going, on the serious business messaging and having many people comment or engage at all. So my advice to you, if you are going, have fun with it, be lighthearted. Maybe you've actually got a controversial opinion that is something business wise. That kind of stuff could be really fun because, hey, put it out there. You're going to get some conversation happening. And that's the way that you do get people to engage and discover you. So have a bit of fun with it. Don't overthink it. Just be yourself and, don't try too hard. I think, we can all see when you're trying too hard to be something or to make something happen. It's a bit like, you can always smell the smell of desperation. Well, let's not be desperate on there. Let's just be on there having a bit of a good time and just see what happens. Do some experiments, see what actually is, what people are liking, not liking, what they're doing. And then you want to, understand, are these people who are liking my stuff, are they actual prospects, or are they just fans? So they're just people who are interested and like my vibe, because there's a big difference. You're not necessarily, if you're not posting things that are relevant for your business, if you're just posting some home life stuff, then you're probably going to be attracting followers who are into that kind of thing as well, and like-minded folks, but they're not necessarily your audience for your business. So yeah, I think there's a lot to come with how to figure out how to use threads for your business more specifically. And it might simply be that when you have you could put out an invitation for them to connect with you in a different way, or put out an invitation for a resource or something that you're doing. That will be the way that you can kind of glean real prospects off threads and into your world elsewhere. What are the negatives of threads? Well, I think at the moment, maybe only the negative is that you might just see a lot of irrelevant stuff. It's a bit like when I joined TikTok at first. I was just like, what is all this crap in my that I'm seeing? It's just so random and so weird. And what I didn't realize is you've just got to go through and kind of like some things or spend time watching certain things for TikTok to learn what you like and what you don't like. And then it shows you more of what you do like. So over time, you actually get a lot more relevant stuff in your feed. And I think it's probably a bit the same with threads. Obviously, follow accounts that interest you. And then you will see obviously their own posts, but also stuff they comment on. So this then helps you to find other people that would be relevant, and you can follow them as well. But in the meantime, when it's brand new, you are probably going to see a bit of randomness on there, which, yeah, it can be entertaining. I did at times feel like it was a bit similar to getting stuck in the TikTok scroll of meaningless rubbish in the beginning, which you could waste a good hour just scrolling through stuff on there. But this is up to you. You can make the choice. Do you keep on scrolling, or do you turn it off and go and do something else? It's up to you to manage your own time and how much time you spend on it. But I think that would be something just to be aware of. You can make it more relevant by following accounts. If you want to come and follow me, you can find me on there. I'm not sure how exactly you find me at the moment on Threads, but if you go to my Instagram, I've noticed that Instagram have put a handy little Threads link there, so you can easily switch between the two platforms and find somebody's thread profile from their Instagram. So I'm on Instagram at jessica.osborne, and you'll be able to find me from there. So do you actually need to be on it? Well, this is the question, right? Of course not. You do not need to do anything at all. But if you want to, then it's now a new thing that's there. And it'll be interesting to see how much energy and time actually disappears from Instagram and is happening on Threads instead. I think we all have a finite amount of time that we want to spend on social media platforms. So I think Threads will take a chunk of your existing time that you might use on other platforms. It'll be really interesting to see how that affects the other platforms and, what becomes the priorities for you and your business. It also might create some opportunities as some people, spend less time doing content on other platforms. Then, that might be a really great opportunity for you to start shining. So everywhere where I think there's always pros and cons, but there's always opportunity. There's always an opportunity and potential for you in everything. It's just deciding what you want to make of it. What does it want to be for you, and how will you use it in your life, in your business? So there we are. That's my little deep dive and first perspectives on Threads. It'll be really interesting, I think, to look back on this in a year's time and see what has changed, because I'm sure there's going to be a huge amount of change in a year, as with everything. But that's what it is today. We're just on middle of July, so 12th of July actually. It's my mum's birthday today, and it's brand new, only just launched literally in the last week. So super interesting to follow and see what happens with this new social media platform. But thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Talk to you next week.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of She's the Business podcast. I hope that you've been enjoying it as much as I have in creating the content to bring to you. So I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate your presence and your attention. Now, if you love the podcast, or maybe you just loved today's episode, then I would absolutely appreciate it if you would go to Apple Podcasts, scroll down, hit the 5 stars, and then leave me a short review about what it was that you really enjoyed in this episode, or maybe in the podcast overall. And when I receive those reviews, then I love to give those reviewers a shout out on my future podcast episodes. So you never know, you may hear your name getting a shout out in a future episode if you do that. So thank you once again for your time, and I'll see you next time on She's the Business.